I couldn't resist. Okay, we have John Patrick and Chunky Cats in here. I couldn't resist.
Neither one of them are talking.
All right. Hey, Chunky, how you doing? We're gonna let a few more people get in here, then we'll probably start. Hey, Great Outdoors. All right. Hey, Chunky, how you doing? I get a hold of my collar. A few more people get in here, then we'll probably start. All right. Hey, Pond Predator. I get a hold of my collar. Hey, Pond Predator. Full 7 show is good, Pond. Hey, Paris, how you doing? Now, do you have a store or something that you work with, Matt? catmatt?
Well, what do you mean by a store? You mean online or
the one
like
that you posted on Facebook?
Yeah.
Do you have a store or something that you,
I kind of guide. I guide out of Lyndhurst Family Resort on Kentucky Lake, and so I use the. I also help, keep the bait shop here at Lyndhurst running, and we stock it with flathead fever tackle, and we got G&S cheese bait in there. We sell skipjack and worms and minnows and lots of other catfishing related stuff, as well as crappie and bass stuff too.
Okay. Because I'd seen that on your Facebook page, and I was wondering if that was you or if that was just someone you supported.
No, it is. I support them, and I also, like I said, I do a lot of guide trips with people that are here on vacations and stuff. Of course, this whole virus thing has a lot of stuff messed up right now, but it's a kind of base camp where I do a lot of my stuff out of now. I've been guiding for 15 years in Northwest Illinois, and then I moved down here, so I've relocated, fishing completely different water, and kind of getting set up with that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to let a few more people roll in.
All right, then.
Pond Predator's talking to you.
Well, I got to hit chat then.
You should be able to see it up on the screen, TV.
Yeah.
He's asking if you're in Kentucky as well.
I can't see any of the chat going on.
All right. He's just asking if you're in Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm in Murray, Kentucky, on Kentucky Lake.
Because I can, if there's questions for you, I can let you know about them.
Well, I hit chat, but it's not. Oh, wait a second. I think I want to go to live comments. Let me see.
Right.
Here. There we go. Now I can see them all, but can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey, Elston. Hey, guys. High Pond Predator Nation. Great Outdoors.
There's Chunky Catfish. Where's that guy's fishing?
Hello, Maurice.
Maurice is a good man. Welcome, Maurice. We got Maurice, Pond Predator, Ozark Guy, Chunky Cats, John Patrick III, Great Outdoors. And where's the other one? Oh, we got them all. That guy, Maurice, he's a hell of a man. He supports everybody.
Well, good.
Hey, Mike Amarillo.
Chunky cat.
He's up in Washington, D.C. area that fishes.
Nice. Hello, Michael. How can you be eating a snack cake after eating all that?
You need to focus on your show.
What?
My wife is just. Oh, we just had a big dinner. My wife's eating a snack cake. I'm like, how in the heck can you be doing that?
I don't know. I just ate two brisket sandwiches that I cooked after I cooked the brisket for about 14 hours in the smoker.
Ooh,
2-foot long sandwiches made into nice big thick brisket sandwiches with grilled onions and mushrooms on it.
nice.
After eating them two, that snack cake doesn't even sound good.
I can smell it, and it's like almost borderline nausea. I'm so full.
Ooh.
I don't want to interrupt her flow, though.
No.
Like Galaxy's deep. She's wilting away to nothing.
Hi, Ramsey. How you doing? Maurice is talking to you.
Well, hi, Maurice. Yeah, we did meet at the Catfish Conference, yeah? Did you get in? Did you buy anything from Chaos King when you were there?
No. It's in the fridge, John. Catman, are you near Cumberland, Kentucky?
No, I'm not too far from the lower Cumberland River. Like I said, we're all the way on the west side, but Cumberland is, no, we're not. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
Michael, I used hickory and soaked apple, and it was hardwood, and I did not use charcoal or gas.
Cumberland City, the steam plant, and I'm close to Cumberland City. It's only about a half hour, 35 minutes away.
And Michael, is a 75-pound brisket. Hi, Mike Sampson. Hi, Jays.
What's up, Jay?
He follows everybody's channel almost.
I see he's from Illinois, it looks like.
Yeah, he's up from around Chicago.
That's where I'm originally from, just about an hour and a half west of Chicago. That's where I guided for 15 years on the Rock River.
Great Outdoors and Ozark Fishing, they're from Missouri.
Yeah, I was figuring Ozark was.
Ramsey's from Ohio. Hi, Jason.
Good evening, Jason. We are in Callaway County.
Yeah, I knew you were from Ohio, Ramsey. John Patrick's from West Virginia.
Nice.
Jason, where are you from again? I forgot where he's from. Whisker Whispers is from Ohio. Maurice is from Nashville. One the tornado ripped through.
Yeah. Seen that. That was bad.
All right, guys. This is Matt Catman Jones. He has a Facebook page and a YouTube page, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's the same name
Yeah, Catmatt Jones.
on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Go over to his Jaw Jerkers in Alabama. Go over to Matt Catman Jones YouTube channel and show him some love. Hit the subscribe and the bell like we always do. And
Maurice, my favorite flathead bait is, if I had to pick, it would be live shad. And I would like, typically in the spring and fall, I'll be, use them in the smaller sizes, 4, 5, 6 inches long. And during the summer, I like them anywhere from 10 to 20 inches long. So, if I could magically have my live well full of my favorite bait, then it would be live shad. But you can use live bluegill and live carp and lots of other things too. But that's just my favorite. My favorite reel is I'm with Cast King. I'm sponsored by Cast King, and I love their capstans. Their capstan is a low profile bass style reel, but it's got a high line capacity. It's got 35 pounds drag, and you can basically fish it for anywhere from your light, like just if you want to throw cheese bait rigs, or if you want to take it and put it on a bigger rod and fish big blues in deep water, you got all the line capacity you need and all the drag you need. So I think the Cast King capstan's my favorite. I am not watching Relentless Pursuit, or not right now anyway. Good evening, Tim.
what got you into catfishing?
Well, the Sharky's nice. Well, my dad did. I've been catfishing all my life. He was taking me when he would run bank poles and throw lines. He'd carry me across the creeks when I was 3, 4, 5 years old on his shoulders, and I would help him, hold the minnow bucket for him and stuff. And then, that kind of graduated into rod and reel fishing, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I have enjoyed fishing a little bit here and there for crappie and some other things during my life, but not really serious. And I just, I don't know, it just kind of got in my blood as a young kid, and here I am, and I'm heavily involved in it still, and I just like it. I just, kind of in my blood.
Can you catch skipjack up there where you're at?
Yeah, we've been catching skipjack all late winter and spring. I have my new co-host with me. I don't know if you can see.
Oh,
That's my co-host Mika right there.
that's cute.
Yeah, she's my co-host. She booted Mom out of the way, and she's now the new co-host.
John Patrick's asking you how you feel about the Garcia reels.
I've never been a big fan of Garcia reels. Before I got on with Cast King, I was using Penn, and I liked Penn. Some of their middle of the road stuff I didn't care for, but their new stuff and their real old stuff I really liked. So I was never a real big Abu fan. I went from I used a lot of Fluger, and then I went to Penn, and then I went to Cast King, and that's where I'm hoping to stay for. I really, really like Cass King, and especially how affordable they are for, your average cat fisherman doesn't have a lot of money to spend on stuff. So,
Right. Great Outdoors wants to know what's your recommended bait of choice for catfish and crappie.
well, for catfish, the great thing about catfishing is there's not really a wrong answer to that. You can use so many things from your basic night crawlers all the way up to dragon crankbaits. So, I mean, but shad and skipjack and crawlers and things like that tend to be your more popular things. But I love running GNS cheese bait. I enjoy just throwing night crawlers. With me and my pal go out to catch some eater fish, and then skipjack, shad, live bluegill, things like that when I want to go catch bigger fish. So or just target flathead. So that's a great thing about catfish. It leaves you a lot of options. So. And for crappie, I mean, like I said, I've never been a big crappie fisherman, but I have done some, and I've always preferred to tip a jig with a minnow. I've always liked just a tube jig tipped with a little minnow, sometimes just a jig head tipped with a minnow. But and if you know that they're real thick, I don't even bother with a jig head. I just like to throw a minnow under a bobber, and something so pretty cool as a grown man about still watching a bobber get pulled under the water. There's just something fun about it. So.
Okay, Jaw Jerker's asking, what's your rig of choice? What type of rigs do you like?
Well, I'm still basic. When I'm flathead fishing, I'm mostly just using your basic Carolina rig. I like no roll sinkers. I prefer a J hook for flatheads because flatheads don't turn and run a lot. I like to run, I like flathead fever circle hooks. I'll use those for blues and channel cats. But basically, the Carolina rig is my favorite rig. Sometimes I run it Santee style. That means I'll have a float on the leader to keep the bait up off the bottom. And occasionally, if we're in real deep water and stuff, I'll run a 3-way rig with a dragon chub on it or something like that. Some kind of a float with a rattle in it to make a little noise, a little vibration. So,
okay.
Yeah, they were not the same company at one time, John. But yeah, I did like the Flugers. I used my last Fluger probably, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years ago was the last time I used Fluger. It's been a long time. So
the only time I used a Fluger reel was on a crappie rod.
Oh yeah, the Fluger, the Tryon, and I know some of them, and I know that they were pretty good. And I always used the what was it called? They had a round reel.
Miss Fitting reel?
It was a big bait caster.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember the name of it right now, but I liked them. I really did like those. But hi, PD. See him on Facebook. I should have friended him. But that's that.
In your opinion, is a J hook better for flatties?
In my opinion, yeah. It depends on how you're fishing for them. If you're targeting flatheads in heavy cover, especially during daylight hours, a lot of times the flathead's going to inhale your bait and he ain't going to move with it. He might only move a couple inches, and if a fish doesn't turn and run, you miss a lot of fish with a circle hook. So I've always found it better the way I fish. J hook seems to hook up a lot. I have a lot higher hookup rate. So now if you're dragging baits and you're dragging ledges for flatheads or something in some of the big reservoirs down here, and you're moving the baits, then you circle hooks ain't such a bad idea. But I prefer to stick J. I like to set hook anyway. To me, that's about the best part of fishing anyways, when you set the hook, especially when it's a big fish and you rear back and set the hook and nothing moves and you got something serious on. That's kind of the funnest part about it. So, John, go ahead.
How do you feel about chicken livers?
I wouldn't eat them, but as a kid, when me and my buddies wanted to go out and catch a mess of fish to eat, we used chicken liver all the time. And it was a great channel cat bait. Caught a lot of, I caught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of channel cats on chicken livers. So, you know, I'm all about, whatever, some people get caught up in what people are saying. There is no, if what you're using is working, then by all means, don't let somebody else tell you that what you're doing is not right. If it's working, stick with it. So if you're using chicken livers and they're working for you, then by all means, man, keep using chicken livers.
What got you into working with the biologies?
Well, I was concerned that there was too many big flatheads being taken out of some of our river systems. They were being taken faster than they could be replaced. I don't think, in the northern part of the country, flatheads grow much slower. They have a much smaller growing season, and it just people are allowed to take as many big fish as they want to. And it could take, what it takes down south down here, where in Kentucky and Tennessee and Alabama and Mississippi, it might only take 8 to 12 years to produce a 30 or 35 pound flathead. Up north, it can take 15, 20 or more, and depending on genetics and everything else. So, that's what got me into it. I mean, you can go all through Facebook and see people complaining about stuff and wishing this and wishing that. But, if you really want to do something about it, you got to get involved. You got to make some phone calls, see what you do. I called biologists and I set up some meetings with locals at the local outdoor stores, and the biologists would come in and let the public ask them questions and stuff and concerns. And so it was good for everybody. And we did that several times, and we wrote some legislation but yeah, I mean, I encourage everybody to do it. If you're concerned about something you're seeing on the water, whether it's the fishing's declining or certain types of fish, or, get involved, make some calls. The fish can't, they can't speak for themselves. So.
How did you go about writing legislation?
I got a hold of my local, what's she called? Not senator, but your local representative, your local state representative. And you get a hold of them and you tell them what you're concerned about. And then they'll typically get a hold of the proper authorities, being the game biologist, DNR, and then they'll voice our concerns for us to them. And then they'll kind of banter back and forth and talk about stuff. And then they'll bring that back to you. It's like a negotiation almost. And then they will write something up that we both approve, and then they'll take it, and your state rep will introduce it on the floor of the Senate, and then it can go through the approval process. So it's not as hard and complicated as people might think, and so it's a great way to get involved and feel like you've done something to help the future. I mean, letting a giant fish go is you're already doing your share by letting the bigger fish go, to each his own. I don't bash people for wanting to keep big fish. I'd rather be able to try and tell them why we should, instead of, scream at them for keeping them. I mean, it's their right. So, but if you want to get involved, in a good legal way to do it and try to save fish, then, call your state rep and see if you can get involved in writing some laws.
Now, have you been out with them when they shocked the lakes before?
I've seen the shocking, yes, and I've been out with the tagging, and I've been out with the netting. I've seen it all. I prefer the netting, even though they say there's a very, very, very low mortality rate with the shocking. I still didn't care for that, but I prefer the netting. They bring the nets right in the boat. The fish go right into a big holding tank. They never get stunned or shocked or low on oxygen. They get measured quick. They get weighed quick. They go back over the side of the boat. and occasionally, you get a tag or something like that put on them. But it's very quick. It's a very quick and accurate way to count things, and the stress on the fish is very, very small. So,
where did that question go? I just lost it.
by Ramsey,
Is there a lot of testing of fisheries as far as counting your area of the state?
well, up where I was from, there was a little bit. I just moved down here, and I've become pretty good friends with a guy that used to work. His name's Ken Smith. I work, and they do keep a very close eye on the amount of fish that are taken by commercial fishermen. They do a lot of studies on the fry, as far as because with the Asian carp came in here, the shad populations and skipjack populations seem to disappear a little bit. But it's just like with most river systems. Eventually the Asian carp does a little damage, but then eventually they come back, and they usually come back very strong. And Kentucky Lake's really coming back strong. So the fishing, the crappie fishing is good, and the bluegill fishing and the cat fishing and the white bass here are just tremendous. So it's doing good.
That's good. What do you see as far as this year going for catfishing?
Well, I think it's going to be good. I'm kind of taking the guiding thing light this year simply because I just moved here, and so I'm still learning to cover more ground and stuff. But I'm getting to enjoy it with some good people, and I'm looking forward to the summer. Not just targeting big fish either, but just sometimes we get so caught up in all the big fish and all the stuff we get to do that we forget how much fun it is just go out and catch some fish for dinner. We have a good time. We go out, take some night crawlers, some cheese bait, maybe some little cut bait with us, and we'll go out and catch 8, 10, 12. We'll come back in, clean some fish, and we'll have a little fish fry at night and sit on the porch. And it's kind of like the grassroots of catfishing, just getting together with friends and having a little fun and having a little fish fry and not keeping any we need, but just, enjoying the resource and having a good time.
What would be your best rod of choice? Your go-to rod and reel?
Well, I just see Chunky posted, why did they discontinue one of the funnest fishing rods, Cast King Cat Tech? They didn't discontinue the Cat Techs. The Cast Cats is what they wanted to that's the blue and orange rod. They're not sure if they're going to get them, if we're going to get more of them in. The Cat Techs are a really, really nice rod, but they're a carbon fiber rod. Anyway, can't remember the right word, but anyway, and the Cats were your glass rods, and they had a lot softer action. But I really, I love the Cat rods, and I hope they come back. But the Cat Techs are a great rod too. They got a lot of backbone, still got a pretty soft tip on them. But yeah, Cast King was not planning on getting so big into catfishing, and they've just kind of dove into here about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So they're learning. The Rover reels are doing amazing, and the technology, the price that they have on them for the quality of them is amazing. And these new capstans, I'm telling you, you get a chance to try a capstan, but I agree. The Cats are awesome. I love them. Those are the blue and orange ones, in case you go to look at them. The black and green ones are the Cat Techs, and so that's the only 2 rods we're really using right now.
What do you think of the Cast King 5000 spinning reel with a brake drag?
They're awesome, and Michelle runs all the spinning stuff, and I run all the bait casting stuff. I do run some of the Centron spinning reels, but she runs the Ponuses, and you know, what Cast King has mastered that I don't feel anybody else is as good at it, in my opinion, again, is their drag systems. Their drag systems on all their rods all their reels, spinning and casting, are absolutely amazing. And their handles, they're really good about putting big handles on the reels as well.
Yeah,
Most of the reels you don't even need to put a power handle on when you're done. But I love the 5000. The 5000s, they're great. And they also have their, they have great bait clickers on the reels as well. So I love those also. Yeah, and the Rover 60s are great, Jason. The 60s are a great all-around reel you can use for any fish. The 70 is good. You get up to the 80s and 90s, they may be a little overkill for freshwater fishing, but some people like to have all that line capacity. So, no biggie. But heck, I use the 50s for blues and flatheads too. So they're not too small to be out of the game either, and you still got plenty of line capacity on them.
Now I'm using the Cast King 5000 for flatheads and big blues.
Yeah, the Rover 50 is it's a great reel. Excited. I think you got 17 to 20 pounds of drag on that, on the 50, I believe, and that's more than enough. The last thing people get all this equipment, and they think when you start catching, you start fishing for big fish that you want to get the biggest, thickest, heaviest pole you can get, the biggest reel you can get, buy 100-pound or 200-pound line and layer it on there, and you're going to hook these fish and you're just going to winch them to the boat. That's just not a good idea. Use the smaller stuff. It's plenty big. A Rover 17 to 20-pound drag is plenty big. 30-pound test mono is plenty big. And these rods with all these technology, you let all that stuff work together. The rod is supposed to be bent. The line's supposed to give a little bit. The reel's supposed to give a little drag when it gets real hard. Let all that stuff work together to tire the fish out and bring it to the boat. And some people get so desperate to catch big fish, they get out there and they've got, I don't know how they can enjoy fishing with some of this stuff they're using. So, I like to have a nice soft tip on a rod, especially if you're a flathead fisherman. So,
yeah,
man.
See, I got the Cast King 50 on an 11-foot heavy action cat buster rod. Which
Okay.
I use that from shore because I'm a bank fisherman. And it's pulled in some 85 and 86-pound cats.
That'll do it.
And
11-foot. You get that 11-foot rod bent, that'll wear a fish out.
But see, I use 20-pound braid. I don't use 30.
I use 30 mono.
I use 20-pound braid. That's an 8-pound test diameter, so it takes about 3 spools to fill up that reel.
Yeah, it would, I guess.
Spool. That's at $15 a spool.
I guess it would.
And it kind of costs on the line, but it's worth it because it gives me plenty of line to play with them if I need it. But I've never broken that braid.
I see John Patrick. What did he say? He had a question there somewhere.
What do you think of tangling with catfish rods?
Well, I think they're great. And Jerry Klein, the guy that owns the company, is a great dude. I know him very well. He's been great for the sport. And, I'm happy for all the success he's had. So, I think you won't go wrong with any of his rods. I know that. I got several friends that use them.
No, I've got 2 cat busters and 1 Akuma. But I got a pin 5,000 and pin 8,000 and pin 6,000. Both loaded with 3-pound braid.
I said I didn't mind the pen reels at all. I used them for quite a while.
I love the pinreels. I've had them. I've had those two pinreels for 5 years.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of big cats with them, and I still don't have a problem with them yet. What do you think of the Ming Yang CL60?
I'm not a fan. I mean, my experience with them, although it was only a one-time experience, so it's kind of hard to judge, was that they weren't very good. Again, I only had one experience with them, so I don't like to talk about products based on what I've heard, because you know how that goes. So I would my hands-on experience with them was very, very minimal. So they could be very good. I don't know. So
Maurice is asking, what's your favorite line?
I love the Cast King 30-pound mono. They also make a 65-15 braid, 65-pound braid, 15-pound diameter that I love. Like if we're fishing deep, open water, dragging baits, pulling baits, things along those lines, because it cuts the water so much better. But I use all Cast King line, and their line's very, very nice. All of their braids and their monos are very, very nice. So.
Okay. Now, I know you use circle hooks for when you're dragging.
Yes.
What's your circle hook of choice?
Yeah, I'm using all of Michael Haney's hooks at Flathead Fever Tackle. He started up about a year or two ago. He's got a great wide gap circle hook. I really, really like it, octopus style, and I really like it. He's got them from 5/0 all the way up to 12/0, so it's a really, really good hook. Hookup ratio is really high, and I mean, he sells sinker slides and dragon chubs and rattles and all kinds of scales and grippers and everything else too. But I really love his hooks. I love having the selection. That's what I like about it. Because when you're going to run small baits during the winter months or the cooler months, or if you're targeting even sized fish, it's nice to be able to have a 5 or 6/0 hook, but then be able to swap over to a 9, 10, or a 12 when you want to pull great big chunks of skipjack or great big live baits or whatever. So I really like his selection, and the quality's great. Good sharp hook. The tips don't fold over on you. So check him out at Flathead Fever Tackle. Michael Haney. I think some people will like that stuff.
Okay. When you get a chance, send me the link, and I'll put it up on my Avid Fishing Meet and Greet channel and my Bank Fishers of America webpage.
I will do that. I appreciate it.
For both of them, because now for a beginner, what would you suggest for decent quality rod and reel, not out of Walmart, that is inexpensive and good for big cats and big flats? I mean, big blues and flats.
I'd go with Cast King simply. I mean, you can get a Rover 50 for around $50. Okay, so you can get a Rover 50 for $50. You can get a 300-yard spool of mono, for $7 or $8, and then you can get a Cast Cat when they come back in stock, if they come back in stock, for $49.99, or you can get the Cat Tech for about $80. So I mean, with Cast King, when the Cast Cats are in, you can get a great combo for about $100 that you can fish for anything for. You can't beat that. And if you get the Cat Tech instead, you're looking at about $130. But I mean, yeah, you can get them cheaper. You're not going to get an Abu and another rod, a quality rod on the internet for that cheap. But you can come close. I mean, like I said, there's that's a great thing about catfishing. There's plenty of options. So, lots of different things you can buy.
I know you're sponsored by Cast King or something, but what would you consider to be Cast King's best heavy action catfish rod?
Well, they've got a musky rod that is, I think a lot of people would really like. And they've got the Saltus, which is a saltwater rod, which is really good too. But the uh, um, the CatTech heavy action rod it's got a real lots of backbone in it, but it's still got a soft tip on it, so you can still detect smaller fish for soft bites. But I'd say the CatTech would be my favorite.
That's what I like about my cat busters and my Kumas. They may be having a lot of heavy action and backbones, but those tips is still real soft.
Yeah, I mean, if you have flathead fished at all, you know that flatheads can be notoriously light biters and be extremely sensitive too. And if you don't have a soft tip on rods, it can cost you quite a few fish a year. And I don't care what people say. I've been fishing for flatheads for 30 years, and I've seen it. And it's just, you want to up your game for flathead fishing. You need to have a sensitive, soft tip on a rod that you can see, but yet you want to have a rod that loads up nice. You still want to have plenty of backbone, but got to have that tip, man.
Ozark wants you to check out his store when you get a chance. He put a link in the description on the chat.
I will check that out. I will check that out, pal. Definitely. I will check it out.
What would be your best advice for a beginner catfishing? For a beginner.
Don't learn how to catfish off the internet. Learn how to catfish through experience on the water. I mean, if you need to know how to tie a knot, or you need to know, you're looking for some areas of places that might hold catfish, sure, consult the internet. But you get on the internet and people are so, I mean, the internet's just full of buttholes. I'm sorry to put it that way, but the catfish, the drama on the internet and stuff is terrible. So I would advise you, you're going to get, if a beginner comes onto a lot of these places and starts asking questions, they'll just get overwhelmed with opinions and people saying this is right and this is wrong and arguing and myself, I would say, if you know how to tie a knot and you know how to do a basic rig and you know a few baits and you know an area that goes, once you know that, I'd say learn it like we did in the old days. Look at the water, learn how to read the water, look for structure, look for root balls, figure out the right way to hook baits. I would learn it with as little internet interference as I could. Yeah, and like Ozark says, yeah, find the old guys, find the river rats. I'm slowly becoming an old river rat. But I mean, find those old guys that say, yeah, when I was a kid, we walked to school both ways uphill in the snow, and those are the guys that'll, and then you can kind of, you'll learn your own way, and then you can listen to the other guys, blabber about all the new techniques and stuff, and you can get into whatever you want to get into. But I would advise I think it'd be much money ahead to learn as much as you can on your own without consulting the internet.
Right. See, I learned from the old people when I was younger, in my little kids and growing up, because I always went fishing with them, and they showed me how to read rivers and the bank contours and all that to find what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
They showed me how to read the water. And I can go to a lake right now, a strange lake I've never been to, and read the waves that the wind's pushing across it and tell where I want to cast. Because it shows you where the underground rips are, the points are, the jetties. Because it leaves the seam. Because when you got that underwater jetty that's pointing out like that and the water's going over it, it ain't going to be a steady wave. It's going to break off.
Yep. And it's little things like that little things like that help a bunch. It's the same with rivers. You can see when the wind's blowing up a river. You can always see when the waves are breaking on a hump. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can learn on your own. And but I think a guy's better off if he's just getting started to learn as much on his own as he can.
Right. You see, as I was growing up, I've stuck with them. I watched them. I've seen what they did, and I started asking questions at a young age. And they just started showing me tricks and tips and how to look for things.
Yep,
Started off in a little muddy, muddy creek beds, then went to rivers and lakes.
absolutely.
And nowadays, people are just relying on all these electronics to do something. Yeah, I get it. You're out in the middle of the lake. What am I looking for? Let's see if I missed something.
Is he ready to sing? I'll let him sing. Is he ready to sing?
No? What would be your most memorable moment catfishing?
Hmm. Oh, probably when my kids started, caught their first flathead probably. Um, I mean, I've had a lot of cool moments fishing, but when you see your kids enjoying it, I think that's really cool. I've been fortunate to get to do a lot of things for Make-A-Wish trips and all kinds of stuff, but um, I mean, I've got a lot of cool moments to remember, but I guess I mean I got to watch my wife catch her first flathead. I got to watch my kids. I just got a lot of cool memories. It's kind of hard to say which one would be the most memorable, but I just say I'm fortunate to have a lot of great memories with fishing. So
Did you tell Sniper he could see you today?
Uh, what would be your funniest moment catfishing?
that's almost like my most memorable because unfortunately, I'm pretty clumsy, so I've had many, 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 many funny moments. I think probably the funniest moment to me was I had a guy playing in my boat in Illinois in November. I mean, the river was, I believe we were 40, I don't know, 40 some degrees, and I was throwing a cast net, and I got the boat drifting down this flat, and I'm throwing the cast net in front of the boat, and the boat caught this big rock and stopped. Well, I didn't. So I'm hip deep in water in November, um, which of course wasn't funny that day, but it's funny now. But yeah, again, I've had a lot of funny moments too. So I mean, I could go on and on about funny moments, but um, again, I've got a lot of those.
What would be your worst moment in catfishing?
Oh, I would think I don't know, man. I mean, losing a big fish is a bad thing. Um, seeing what the world of Facebook has done to catfishing, um, what it's become, that's kind of bad. Um, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, every fisherman's different. But yeah, I mean, anytime you lose a big fish, and I've lost my share, but um, you know, losing big fish is probably right up there just about with anything. So
Yeah. Okay, guys, you got any more questions? No. when you use a boat, do you do a lot of drifting or anchor fishing?
I love fishing on the rope, anchoring, as much as I can. But there's times when drifting and dragging and pulling is the best option. So you don't always have current or the right wind. So sometimes anchoring's not an issue, but anchoring is my favorite way to fish. So I like to anchor. I've got a hurricane anchor. Hurricanes, man, they they hold anywhere, anytime. So we have fished 100 foot of water, 8 mile an hour current, and had that anchor hold. So
Okay. Do you do you normally just guide by yourself, or do you have someone on the boat with you to help you?
no, I usually do all my guiding by myself. Sometimes, people, want to have somebody, to videotape something or something. My wife has came on some guide trips with me, but for the most part, I guide by myself. I
Okay.
enjoy that. I even enjoy just the one person guide trips the most too, because even though I do guide trips with 2 and 3 people, but one person you can really, they ask a lot more questions, it seems like, and you really get to talk about fishing more. And, because I like sharing information as well. So
Okay.
looks like
Now,
no more questions.
huh?
Said it looked like no more questions.
I know. I'm thinking of questions. Normally they're pounding with questions.
What?
Patrick's asking you what brand of line do you use?
Yeah,
He,
I use all casting line, John.
I think he missed that one earlier.
Oh yeah, some people come in at different times. Yeah, we use all casting.
No, you do use electronics, don't you?
Yes, I prefer Garmin. I've always enjoyed the Garmin a little bit more, and I'm used to it. I know what I'm seeing, so I stick with Garmin. And I don't use the expensive stuff either. I just want to know the water temperature. I want to be able to see the cover, and I want to know the depth. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Catfishing's not supposed to be complicated. It's supposed to be fun. My
Great.
PB is 70. Great Outdoors. My PB is a 77.01 flathead.
And John, you're wrong on my age by a ways off. What would be your outtake on snagging for spoonbill?
I don't. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I don't know any of the statistics. I don't know anything about it. I got to do it one time about 10 years ago. I really don't. You know, I don't have an opinion on it. Who is my favorite YouTuber? Hmm. Who is my favorite YouTuber?
Who asked that question? Oh, Kevin did.
Michael Cats.
Cats.
Wants to know who my favorite YouTuber is. Who do I like on YouTube? I mean, I don't watch much YouTube. I'm always usually busy fishing or doing something, but I know a lot of YouTubers. Um, who is my favorite YouTuber? I like Chris Flores. He does a good job. The River Cat. How about Spencer Bauer? I like Spencer Bauer and Wallace Knights. Few of those guys. Pretty cool. Thank you, Jason. It is, and I'd love to. I would love to have a chance to beat it someday, but I love flatheads. Period. So they're all fun to catch, and it's just I enjoy the hunt of a flathead. The blues and the channel cats are fun. Also, they're catfish. They're great, but flathead fishing is much more unique and
Yeah, the hunt for the flathead is awesome.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, Chunky Cats, what's up? What's up, Chunky Cats?
Yeah. Yeah. Clap, 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 clap. That was, yeah.
Favorite places you've been fishing?
Favorite places?
Yes.
Oh my God. I fished for catfish from Kansas to the Coosa River in southern Alabama to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin. Um, I've been to Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Wow.
Kind of stopped after out.
Man, that messed up. Me probably. I really do enjoy going to Decatur, Alabama, and fishing Wheeler Lake. I really enjoy the lower Mississippi River around Memphis, Tennessee, and down in that area. And then I really like where I'm at now too. So, how about 2 or 3 of my favorites? Is that good?
Yeah. Have you ever seen Richard Gene the Fishing Machine on YouTube?
No. Again, like I said, I don't watch much YouTube.
Well, he's a good fisherman, but he does this fishing approach in a more comical way in the beginning and the end.
Okay.
Split two-person personality.
Oh, okay. That sounds funny.
It's funny, but it's good. He don't make it a derogatory thing, but it's a humorous thing, and it's good. I like him. If you ever come to Morgantown, let him.
Good.
Patrick,
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, John. If I ever get out that way, I'd love to fish out there again. That'd be great. Now that's it. I guide here on Kentucky Lake. I'm out of Murray, Kentucky. So, if anybody wants to, yeah, Steve Douglas. I was just catching skipjack with Steve Douglas yesterday.
wow. You meet a lot of YouTubers out there on the shoreline, don't you?
Well, I've known Steve since he made his first rod holder. We made it in Illinois up at one of my friend's garages. Actually, he had an idea and he needed somebody to fabricate them, and we kind of got it, fabricated, and he was off to the races, and he stuck with it. And man, he's done tremendous.
That's good. I'm surprised you don't have Maurice as one of your subscribers.
Maurice?
Yeah, because he subscribes to every YouTube catfish channel on YouTube.
Well, then he should. Why isn't he?
I'm thinking he is, but because that man probably has some stories of fishing and seeing things on YouTube that he could tell a lot about. One of these times, I'm going to try to get him on here.
Right.
Now, do you catch your own live bluegills for catfish bait, or do you use bluegills?
No, I catch all my own bait. Creek chuck, bluegill, shad, skipjack. I catch it all.
What's your preferable size on bluegills for catfishing?
Well, again, size depends on the water temperature, and the hotter the water gets, the bigger the bait I like to use. So, well, thanks, Maurice. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do 4, 6, and 8 hour trips. 4-hour trips are 125. 6-hour trips are 175. 8-hour trips are 225, and then I charge 75 for extra people. So, I think I'm pretty cheap as the guide things go. So,
sounds pretty lenient.
Yeah, I am. And I haven't had anybody die yet. I haven't drowned anybody yet, and I haven't had to shoot anybody, so I'm doing pretty good.
Well, Chunky just subscribed to your channel.
Thank you, pal. I appreciate it.
There's a few of them in here that went over to your channel and subscribed, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I appreciate it all. The catfishing's been good to me for the most part. I've been able to I've got to do a lot of things that as a catfisherman I never thought I'd get to do, and I appreciate it all the people that have been good to me. So I really do appreciate it.
Because on this channel we try to support fellow catfishing channels and YouTubers and all that, and we also support our military, our first defenders, our police, our nurses, and all that. And we try to keep it peaceful with all that and everything.
Well, so, I'm a veteran. I'm sitting in the room with another veteran, so we support all that too.
We thank you for your services. We thank you for your services that you've given to this country to help with our freedoms and our rights.
Well, my cute little buddy over here, he did a lot more than I did, but yeah, we're proud Americans for sure, and we said we love to fish, and catfishing's about as all Americans as get. So
I'm sorry I laughed when you said you cute little buddy. I thought you were talking about your co-host sitting next to you.
I'm talking about my cute little buddy. He's just, if you knew him, I take him fishing. You'll see pictures of him on my site sometime. His name Wayne. He's a Vietnam veteran, and I want everybody to go look at him. And if you don't think he's cute, there's something wrong with you. He's just a cute little thing. He has stubby little legs, he's just a cute little dude.
John Patrick, it's the name that's underneath him, catmatt Jones, YouTube.
I'll give you a shout, pal.
Jay
yeah, Marie.
No, mine. I don't have anything to hold on.
Jay,
I appreciate it.
So did Ozark pick you up.
Thank you, Ozark. I appreciate it. And Maurice, we were riding through them flooded. We were trying to save them people out of their house. We got a call one day, and there was an ice jam on the river, and we had water in places that had never been. So we dropped our boat in the ditch there, and we got to their farm and got them and all their stuff out. We were able to on their driveway. We were reading 7.5 feet of water on their driveway when we were going to their house, and we were able to float almost to their front door. So that was pretty cool. Wasn't anything anybody else wouldn't have done. We were just in the right place at the right time. So.
I've known Becky since she was about
okay.
8, and I was probably about 9.
You guys have any more
high school teacher.
Questions?
A long time ago, Becky worked for us, and she used to watch my kids, and we're just
Matt. Oh no, man! I gotta get.
Together. We've just been friends a long time.
We got a lag, so I gotta wait a few minutes.
I don't know anything about that. What was the false information?
We got about a minute or two lag between them typing and us getting to it.
Thank you, John Patrick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, these people are good about subbing to other people's channels to help them grow and everything.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. I got bit by a brown recluse spider about not quite 2 years ago, and I haven't been able to do near as much the last couple years as I wanted to, but I'm starting to get back there, and hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more this year. So, well, thank you, Tim, for you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. I like to do this stuff. Again, it's fun talking about what you're passionate about. So,
well, let me know when you're free, and see where I can fit you in.
Absolutely, keep in touch with me. I'd love to come back.
Oh, you're more than welcome to. I don't know if you've seen the live stream where I had Chunky Cats and Great Outdoors on there. great outdoors. I mean, he has a lot of knowledge on backpacking and first aid kits and stuff like that. I'm going to be trying to get him back within the next 2 or 3 weeks so we can talk more about that. Because he
Yeah,
talked about first aid kits for boats, bank fishing, whatever else that you might need.
definitely. I'll watch all that. I'll keep up with you guys here.
Did you double it? I don't know. Yeah. You doubled it tonight? Oh, I'll sit with you.
All right, listen.
I'll have to look though.
You're welcome, Chunky. Now
Yeah, thank you.
next week I will try to get another guest on, and we all know him. We all love him, and Matt even knows him because he's one of your supporters. It'll be Lightning Bug. He's open and game to come on here next Friday night. I'll be getting in touch with him next week some more to get him on here. It'll be at 7:00 p.m. Central Time Friday night. And if you have any ideas for a Thursday night guest, just to break up the monotony, let me know. Or it might be Catmatt coming in again next Thursday night just to chit chat and
You never know.
It might be just to share some fishing stories or whatever. Do you have,
Absolutely.
would you have one you'd like to share tonight?
Of what?
Fishing story.
If I start a fishing story now, I'll be here forever. But no, I've got more stories than I can take a stick at. But I'd like to save. I've got a really good one that I would like to save to start off the next time I'm with you.
Okay.
Because it's funny and I think people would enjoy it.
Have you seen Catfish Weekly about 2 weeks ago with James Dockery on it? Boy, he was telling all kinds of funny stories.
I've got a few myself. I'll share them with you here on the next show.
Okay. All right.
I kind of got my dog and my wife and all that stuff, and we got a few things we got to do yet tonight to get ready. I'm actually getting ready to go fishing in the morning. So, and if I start talking about stories, heck, I'll be here all night, and I got to go home with her.
Yeah.
So,
Marie's talking to you right now too. So.
Who is?
Maurice.
Yeah, I seen that. No, thank you, Maurice. I appreciate being here. It's great talking. I love being able to come on these different podcasts and webcasts and stuff and talk to new people. I enjoy it. So, believe me, the pleasure's mine.
As you've seen, this is more of a laid back area, more laid back environment where you just kick back, have fun.
Yep, absolutely.
But
I dig it.
I try to get a little bit of information out of you so people in chat will know a little bit about you. So,
absolutely.
All right.
See you later, Tim.
We'll catch you later, and I'll be in touch.
Yeah, be in touch, Avid. Thank you very much for the show. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Get a hold of me.
All right, we'll do.
Peace out, everybody.
What did you guys think of him? There's an open link if someone wants to jump up.
in the box? I tweet all chemistry. Take turns singing. Let's make it a karaoke kind of party. Okay, George. Okay, Belton, I don't know that we're going to go anywhere right this minute, but I mean, they might. I can stop anybody else. And I'm co-hosting.
Well, Chunky, he is sponsored by Cast King, so yeah, I can understand that.
I thought you said he was watching Dateline. No, Bolton. Bolton was the one who sang. Or didn't sing, but didn't sing. Oh, okay, I got him mixed up. Okay, I'm sorry. Thomas, hit the little camera at the bottom. And, with the button.
No problem. Have fun, Ozark.
You're my guard. You will make sure I don't do stupid. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a night, and I'll talk to you guys next Friday night or Thursday night. You enjoy and have fun, and all be safe, and have a good weekend.
Have you ever been in a box before? Oh.